Thank you so much, Leeanna, for your very kind, generous, and creative introduction. And thanks for all the great work that you've been doing as well on behalf of your constituents here. I am also very pleased to be joined by my colleague, John Milloy, who was introduced a moment ago. John's a busy man these days. John's family has just arrived. My family just won't leave. Have you noticed that human beings are the only species that allow their young to return? About our ability to make the best of today and the most of tomorrow. And for my money, there's no better story than our story, the Ontario story. So let's start where we should, at the beginning. I want you to picture some people living in Europe a long time ago. They don't have a lot of imagination, they don't like adventure, and they don't take risks. I'm talking about the ones on the docks, waving at their loved ones. Because the people setting sail for Ontario, they were the resourceful ones, the self-reliant ones, the resilient ones. They had to be. The earliest Ontario settlers faced a harsh northern land. But where the folks who stayed in Europe only saw wilderness and hardship, the new Ontarians saw endless, boundless opportunity. For example, they knew the world needed timber, in part to build sailing ships, so they seized that opportunity. Their children and grandchildren saw that there were vast riches buried underground, and they knew that the world needed minerals, so they seized that opportunity and they started mining. Through the 1800s and early 1900s, if you were growing up in Ontario, you probably lived on a farm because you had seized the opportunity to earn your own living by growing good food for people at home and for export. And then, in 1910, Adam Beck lit up a Kitchener Street sign that read, "For the people." He wanted electricity for every Ontario home and business. Ontarians heard the call of industrialization and began moving to the cities. 50 years later, around 1960, Ontarians were making all kinds of manufactured goods, like whiskey, cars, clothes, and steel. Today I want to tell you how we're doing that, how we're helping to build a stronger Ontario economy. Job one for us is to build a globally competitive workforce. That starts with giving our kids the best possible education. So, we've built 400 new schools. We've made repairs to thousands more. And when was the last time you heard about a school being closed because of a labor disruption in Ontario? You know, it wasn't always like that. We're not fighting with our schools. Together, all of us, we're fighting for our future. So we have smaller classes, more textbooks, more supports for learning than ever before, and it's paying off. Test scores are up 14%. Graduation rates, 11%. Our schools are now in the top 10 globally. More importantly, our kids are now in the top 10 globally. We also created 200,000 more spaces in our colleges, universities, and apprenticeships. And today our workforce is one of the best in the world. 63% of us have a post-secondary education. That's the highest among the 34 OECD countries. But we're not stopping there. We've set ourselves a new goal, 70%. We want 70% of the Ontario workforce to have a post-secondary education. And our plan to get there starts where it should, at the beginning, with full-day kindergarten. Our new program for 4- and 5-year-olds puts us at the forefront of North America. It helps our kids get a strong start in school. And it helps parents manage hectic schedules and breathe just a little bit easier. Our plan will make full-day kindergarten available in every school for every family who wants to take advantage of this opportunity. Let me tell you a story. A short while ago, I visited a company called Polar Mobile. Kunal Gupta, the guy who founded and runs the company, is 25 years old. He has 40 young Ontarians working for him, building applications for smartphones, or as they're known, apps. When I was growing up, a nap was something my dad took on Sunday afternoons. But as I say, our world has changed. Get this. That kid and the kids he's working with. 6 million people in over 100 countries are using their products. The young people working there are exactly the ones who benefit from our strong, world-class schools. They're building our future right now, and we're building the workforce to make sure that future is bright. Now, our economy also needs healthy, productive workers. And that brings me to another way we're building a stronger Ontario economy. We're building 18 new hospitals. We have thousands more nurses and doctors, more technologies like MRIs, and more drugs being funded than ever before. And these investments, too, are paying off. 1,200,000 more Ontarians now have a doctor. And Ontario now has the shortest wait times in Canada. All this is good for families, and it's good for our economy. Workers who aren't worried about their health care are productive workers. And businesses count on public health care because it gives them a competitive advantage. Here's another advantage we're building. Infrastructure. Because our future demands it. We're investing $60 billion in 6 years, which is more than the 2 previous governments invested in 13 years. We're building roads, bridges, hospitals, schools, college and university expansions, public transit, a new electricity system, access to high-speed internet, sewers, community rec centers, and more. All told, these projects have helped create hundreds of thousands of jobs. Just as importantly, those projects will be there strengthening communities and making us more competitive for years to come. Here in this community, we've invested in a new school for health and life sciences at Conestoga College. And at the Cambridge campus, we're building the School of Engineering and Information Technology. Then there's the Engineering and Math Expansion Project at the University of Waterloo. And at the Bridgeport Community Centre, we're building a new gym and upgrading the building to meet the LEED Gold certification. All told, we're investing nearly $100 million in 47 stimulus projects for 2,400 jobs, to say nothing of the $300 million we're investing in public transit. We're also rebuilding Ontario's electricity system to power our growing economy, because that system was old, and we were dangerously close to running out of power. Over the next 20 years, we're renewing 80% of our electricity system and building lots of new generation. We're shutting down those dirty coal plants. Studies tell us that saves us $3 billion in annual healthcare costs. And we're creating an exciting new industry of clean, renewable energy jobs. 7 years ago, we had 10 wind turbines in Ontario. Today, over 700. We have solar farms across Ontario, including the biggest one in the world. Thousands of Ontarians are putting solar panels on their roofs and farmers' fields or on top of schools and community centres. We're making Ontario the North American place to be to manufacture solar panels and wind turbines. From Canadian Solar, moving production from China to Guelph. Now that's a new one. From China over here, creating 500 Ontario jobs, to Samsung bringing new plants to Windsor and Tillsonburg, with 2 more to come elsewhere in Ontario, creating thousands more jobs. Clean energy manufacturing plants are popping up across our province. And as you can see, that means jobs. What can you say about RIM? They keep getting it done and keep growing in an incredibly competitive business environment. And we're proud to partner with Open Text, for example, where together we helped create 400 new jobs. When you wrap it all up, movies, mobile devices, apps, computer games, television, it's an industry worth $15 billion a year. And we're next door to the world's biggest market for that stuff, with access to millions of consumers. So our digital age represents a huge opportunity for our businesses. one that we're helping Ontarians seize by investing in skills, tax credits, and incentives for business. So, what about the next big opportunity? You know what that is? It's water. That's right, water. It's estimated that demand for water will exceed supply by 40% in 20 years. Water will become the new oil. The world will need to become much more efficient in our use of this precious resource. That's going to take new technologies. Here's the really good news. Technologies that Ontario businesses are already inventing, producing, and selling. There are now over 1,000 water technology companies in Ontario employing over 22,000 people. They're already seizing global opportunities and creating jobs here at home. Our new Water Opportunities Act, the first of its kind in North America, not unlike our Green Energy Act, will help this dynamic new industry expand as worldwide demand grows. Succeeding in today's economy is also about building on our natural advantages. I'm talking about our forests and mineral resources. We're working with industry to harvest our resources responsibly. In 2008, we opened Ontario's first diamond mine. Our next exciting development will be an area in northern Ontario known as the Ring of Fire. And I'm not talking about the Johnny Cash song. This is the largest mining find in this country in over 100 years. The Ring of Fire is rich in something they call chromite. All you need to know about chromite is that you can't make stainless steel without it. Guess how many other chromite mines there are in North America? None. We've got the only one. Bottom line, more jobs for Ontarians. And then there's agriculture. From farming to food processing, it is a huge industry in Ontario, contributing billions to our economy and supporting thousands of jobs, because we all need to eat. But what we want to eat is changing. When I was a kid, supermarkets were smaller and the selection was a lot less super. Today, families want more variety. When Terry hands me a grocery list these days, it has things on it like kale and collard greens. She makes me buy them and eat them because she says they're good for us. That's not unusual. As much as possible today, families want healthy food that's locally grown. So we're helping our farmers seize the opportunity by doing things like investing in crop research and promoting good things grow in Ontario. I could sing that for you, but children and puppies would cry. The decisions that we've made together, we're in a better position than a lot of other places as we emerge from this horrific global recession. Let me tell you about one of the most important decisions that we made. When the auto sector was in real trouble and 400,000 jobs were on the line, we decided that we weren't going to cut those people loose. So we invested $4.7 billion in the future of our industry, and it was the right choice. Take a look at the auto sector today. Production is up. Workers have been recalled. GM has even announced that they're hiring hundreds of new employees this year. Exports are up 46% in the past year. Our industry is recovering because you and I lent a hand and made a smart investment. Now, there are those who believe that the way forward is to slash education, healthcare, infrastructure, and innovation right across the board. I don't believe you can cut your way to strength. I believe that you get stronger by building. You get stronger by making sure Ontarians have what they need to succeed. And that's what our plan's all about. And it's working. We're stronger and recovering faster than many other places. Japan has recovered only 5% of the jobs they lost in the recession. In the US, it's 13%. In the UK, 47%. Ontario, 96%. We've recovered 96% of the jobs that we've lost. We're not completely out of the woods, but we're most definitely going in the right direction. And why is that? Because Ontarians are resourceful, they're resilient, they're reliable, and they're successful. It's in our DNA. We have always been able to count on each other. We've always found a way forward, a way to succeed. From the first settlers leaving Europe to come to a harsh northern land we shared with our Aboriginal peoples, to the generations that followed who endured wars and economic hardships, we have never given up in the face of a challenge, and we've never walked away from an opportunity. Ontarians always find a way. We just need the tools to get there. That's what our government is doing. That's our plan, to give Ontarians everything they need to succeed. I'm confident it's the right plan, just as I'm confident in our people, our province, our Ontario, the greatest province in the best country in the world. Thank you very much.